Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to our second workshop, our second fall workshop presentation called Digital Accessibility for Images and Videos. My name is Mariam Abdalsalam. I'm an instructional consultant specializing in accessibility on the course side within LS&A Technology Services and Learning and Teaching Consultants. My academic background is in instructional design and education. My personal and professional experiences in and outside of the classroom fuel my passion for accessibility. So my mission is to create learning environments where every user can engage fully and independently, regardless of their abilities. And I'm happy to be here today. My main goal for this session is to make accessibility less intimidating and more action-driven. And I'm joined by Erin, who is a co-facilitator. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Erin Gavalier, and I'm a course content remediation consultant for LSA Technology Services. My main focus is on course accessibility, which involves consulting with instructors to help them make their course content more accessible, from Canvas pages, documents, presentations, and more. And I've been given the wonderful opportunity to co-present this workshop on digital accessibility, which I'm excited to share with you all about today. We're also joined by Emily, who's another member of our team and co-presenter.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I will be facilitating the chat today. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat, and I will try to answer, or we will answer at the end of the session. And I will also lead a short demo today. So very excited to talk to you all later.
We also have Rachel on here as well, part of our LTC team. So if there's any questions, she can also answer in the chat. So let's continue it. And we also have Bauman, which is another consultant that's on here. So we are full of consultants from LTC, which is awesome. Okay, so just a few quick logistical notes. This session is being recorded. We'll definitely share the recording and slides with everyone after, so you can revisit any point at your leisure. You'll also notice that automated captions are available in Zoom, which is a great example of accessibility in action. Please feel free to select show captions if you find them helpful. We also welcome your questions, so pop them in the chat as well, like Emily has stated earlier. And we're going to share some practical bite-sized strategies that can make a monumental difference without feeling overwhelming. So let's make progress, not perfection, which is our guiding principle.
Before we dive into the main content, I want to take a moment to go over what we'll accomplish during today's session. So by the end of this workshop, you'll be able to take practical steps to make your images and videos accessible to everyone. We'll start with how to add alt text to images, including more complex visuals like charts and graphs. We'll look at how to describe them in a way that's both concise and meaningful. Next, we'll talk about descriptive captions, how they provide meaningful context for images or video content, and why they go beyond simply labeling what's shown. Then we'll go over how to use text transcripts and closed captions effectively. This is especially important for videos where people may be hard of hearing or just watching without sound. We'll also cover how to prepare a video for accessibility from the start. This includes things like choosing a clear title, avoiding text overload, and ensuring your captions align with what's being spoken. And finally, we have a demo to walk you through how to add alternative text to images and an optional activity if you would like to follow along. By focusing on these skills, you will be better equipped to create content that is inclusive and usable by everyone. So let's get started.
Okay, so in today's higher educational landscape, accessibility isn't just about providing the accommodations, it's a foundational principle for effective and equitable learning. So think of a course as a meticulously designed map, and in that course, all of your students should have a clear path to the destination. But without accessibility, that map might fall short with some missing trails, unreadable landmarks, and confusing directions for some. Research has shows that over 20% of undergraduate students report having a disability. And because of this, they will face systemic barriers like scanned PDFs that they can't read, also videos without accurate captions, or online assignments that just can't be navigated with a keyboard. One second, let me just add somebody. So these are all the primary reasons for academic disparities that lead to student frustration, disengagement, and lower academic performance. So when you create accessible course content, you are creating a universal map that works for everyone. You're also going to empower students to navigate the course independently and with dignity without the added stress of seeking out accommodation. So this proactive approach not only benefits students with disabilities, but also enhances the overall learning experience.
Universal design is a powerful philosophy, all content for all people. It's about designing for everyone from the start, making things accessible and usable for the widest audience. Think automatic doors at grocery stores, airports, or hospitals. Originally designed to assist people using wheelchairs, crutches, or those with limited mobility, but they truly benefit countless others. Imagine trying to open a heavy door when your arms are full of groceries, pushing a stroller, or simply rushing through a busy airport. Automatic doors provide effortless access for everyone. It's about designing for the margins but benefiting the mainstream. It's about anticipating the incredible differences among our learners before we even build our syllabus or design our first assignment. Instead of reacting with individual accommodations after the student encounters a barrier, UDL encourages us to design universally. This shift in mindset ensures our learner experiences are accessible and engaging for all students, regardless of their abilities or learning styles. UDL is a practical guide built on 3 core principles that reshape how you think about course design. First, we have engagement. How do we grasp the attention of all learners and sustain their interest? Second, representation. How do we present information in varied ways so that everyone can understand it? Third, we have action and expression. How do we give students diverse assignment options to show what they know? By weaving these principles into your teaching, you'll not only remove barriers, but also unlock new levels of participation and success for every student in your classroom.
Okay, so let's take a moment to talk about accessibility guidelines and policies that shape how we create accessible digital content. At the core, we have Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, also known as WCAG. These standards guide how we create accessible websites, applications, and digital documents, and they directly inform U of M's Electronic and Information Technology Accessibility Policy, which is a mouthful. When we follow these standards, whether you're designing a syllabus or sharing course materials or even submitting or creating assignments, we can create a more inclusive digital environment that benefits everyone. So if you visit the resources linked on the slide, you'll find that WCAG covers a lot of information. And while we encourage you to explore it, the good news is that it's simple changes in how we create content really can make a big impact. So these workshops are designed to help you understand both what to do and then why it matters. You may find the full list of standards a bit overwhelming, which is completely normal. So our approach here is really to start small and one step at a time. Most people haven't encountered alt text, captions, or transcriptions before, and that's totally okay. So WCAG can be a great tool to reference and to share, not just because it aligns with U of M's policy, but it's also because it's the industry standard. So the goal for this session is that you'll understand how to add accessible practices to your workflow when creating new digital content. And familiarity with these practices will support you and your students far beyond the classroom.
Alt text and title tags are simple but powerful tools for accessibility. We use them across web content, slides, and Word documents. Screen readers automatically announce when an image is present, and if we've included them, they'll read both the title and the alt text. Think of alt text as an audio description for a movie scene. It explains exactly what's happening visually. Its purpose is to answer, what is this image showing and why is it here? It's essential for users who can't see the image or when the image fails to load. A title tag is more of like a name tag or a tooltip, extra non-essential information that appears when you hover your mouse over an image. It can be helpful for sighted users, but is not as reliable accessibility tool because screen readers support varies. For purely decorative images, like an icon used as a bullet point, skip both the alt text and the title tag. Bottom line, alt text is critical for accessibility. Title tags are optional and best used as a bonus for user experience. not as a substitute for alt text.
Okay, so both title and alt text can be added to text or slides pretty easily. These screenshots are showing on the slide how to tag the images in Google Slides. If you're using Word or PowerPoint, the process is pretty much the same. The slide shows also how to add the alt text to a PowerPoint. You'll just need to select the graphic, right click, and then select Edit Alt Text. And Emily will demonstrate on how to tag those images later on throughout the presentation.
When it comes to images, alt text is really the behind-the-scenes hero for accessibility, describing the visual for screen readers. A caption, on the other hand, is the public-facing explanation or context, visible to everyone. Now, for complex visuals like tables, charts, or graphs, alt text alone won't cut it for an in-depth description. This is where universal design shines. A verbal explanation of your data isn't just for visually impaired students. It enriches learning for everyone. For information-heavy graphics, I strongly recommend a description right in your main text or as a dedicated caption. A powerful caption that clarifies which figure it's discussing, what data is being displayed and how, and the major takeaway point from that data. Unlike alt text, captions don't have a rigid format. You'll place them case by case. Think of a text box under a chart in Word or Excel. Regardless of placement, a clear text description of your data is incredibly valuable for learner engagement and comprehension.
So the core principles of good alt text is simple. It should just answer the question, what do you see? But as the slide shows, the answer to that question isn't always the same. It changes based on the context of the image and your audience. So let's look at the examples on the slide, both of which describe a photo of the University of Michigan Law Library. So for an audience already familiar with U of M, the description states students studying in the U of M Law Library. This is perfect. It's concise, it provides just enough information because the audience already understands the visual and architectural significance of the space. One second, I'm just going to add somebody in. There's no need to describe the Gothic arches or the stained glass windows. The name itself evokes a clear image in their minds. However, if this image was used or if it was on a general page about architecture, that description wouldn't be as helpful. So our audience here is going to be different. They might not know what the U of M library looks like, so we need to be more descriptive. The alt text could state something like long, softly lit rooms with a high arched ceiling and 2 rows of chandeliers. This paints a vivid picture and it focuses on the key architectural features that are relevant to a discussion on design. Another key guideline to aim for is 125 characters. It's a good rule of thumb because it's long enough to be descriptive, but short enough to read quickly by screen readers. For more complex images like charts, graphics, or infographics, you may have to break that rule. So for those examples, your alt text should be longer and more detailed. So in order to describe the data or the information presented, so the person who can't see the image can still understand those key concepts. So it really just depends.
Here are some examples of bad alternative text. The first example, picture of a person studying with an open laptop, starts with picture of, which is unnecessary. Screen readers already announce images as images. Also, the description is too vague and doesn't tell the user anything meaningful about the image's purpose. In this case, the person isn't even the main focus. Maybe the image is about studying in general, not about a specific individual. The second example goes in the opposite direction. UM Law student volunteering with the Innocent Project is overly detailed. It includes specific elements like MacBook Pro and the exact type of crime, which might not be relevant to the image's purpose. If all this context is already in the article or image caption, repeating it in the alt text is redundant. Alt text should be purposeful, concise, and aligned with the image's role in the content. At U of M, we have UMGPT, which includes built-in Wolverine Describer prompt. This tool lets you upload an image and get an AI-generated description you can use as a starting point for alt text. To use it, just copy the Wolverine Describer prompt into UMGPT, click the plus sign to upload an image, and the AI will generate a description. Now, it's important to emphasize that even though AI can speed up the process, We can't rely on it to be perfect. AI might miss context or add unnecessary details. That's why we should think of these tools as assistants. They give us a draft that we can refine to make sure it's accurate, concise, and meaningful for your learning environment.
So, as Aaron mentioned, we are excited about the potential of Gen AI as a tool to help us craft alt text, but we're also cautious. So, it's beneficial to have many AI tools at our disposal to kind of assist us to create the appropriate alt text and captions, since it does streamline a crucial part of our accessibility efforts. However, it's still vital to acknowledge that current AI isn't always perfect in this domain. So, while it can provide some decent auto-generated alt text, we are seeing on the course level that they often still struggle with the nuance, context, and also identifying the true purpose of the image. So this isn't to say that we should totally abandon the tools. It's quite the opposite. They serve as a really good starting point and saving us time and effort. But again, they're just assistants, not replacements. So we must always apply a human touch, reviewing and refining the AI's output to ensure that our alt text is accurate, comprehensive, and truly reflects the image's content and intent. So this step ensures our digital content is genuinely accessible and serves all of our users. Okay, so here we see on this very slide the alt text generated by Google for our image. It might state a person holding a chocolate-covered donut, but as you can clearly tell, this image actually depicts a person holding a turtle. So the stark difference highlights a critical point. Relying solely on the automated descriptions can easily miss the crucial context, possibly the emotional tone, or the specific details that just make the image actually meaningful, which is kind of funny.
GoBlue is U of M's mobile AI assistant created to support students, staff, and faculty in their day-to-day campus experience. It combines UM GPT's model with university-specific knowledge, making it a useful tool for navigating UM resources. One of its key features is image analysis. This lets users upload photos or take pictures and then ask AI questions based on the visual content. GoBlue works on both iOS and Android, ensuring it's available to most of the UM community. Importantly, the app was built with accessibility in mind, so users who rely on screen readers and other assistive technologies can access its features.
So here is an example of the GoBlue app's output. A person wearing a baseball cap and red shirt is outdoors, holding a small turtle in their hands. They're standing on grassy terrain, dressed in overalls with a patch on their cap. And I think you'll agree here that that's a pretty accurate and detailed description. So depending on which tool you're using, it's going to vary its output. But as artificial intelligence technology, as it continues to advance, the app will further enhance its existing features. So significantly kind of boosting its overall performance and be more accurate. But again, it's still important for a human to still review the alt text output. It's not going to take away that person's job and responsibility.
This slide visually demonstrates just how simple it is to add alt text. Virtually all common platforms like Google Docs to PowerPoint and beyond offer straightforward alt text options. Typically, it's as easy as a right click to access the alt text menu and provide your description.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at how to make audio content accessible. So whenever you're working with audio-only media, such as a podcast, an interview, or an audio essay, it's essential to provide a text transcript. So this ensures that your content is accessible to people who are hard of hearing, but it also benefits others, for example, those in noisy environments, non-native speakers, or anyone who prefers reading. The same applies to video content that consists mostly of a person talking, such as a recorded lecture or a presentation. In these cases, a transcript can often serve as the core accessibility feature, especially if the visuals are minimum. So if you're working from a script, you are already one step ahead, and that script can be easily used as your transcript with minimum editing. If you're also sharing your slide deck, a great strategy is to include the transcript or detailed speaker notes in the notes section of your slides. This creates a more complete and accessible learning resource. Let's talk briefly about other forms of text access. One option is closed captioning, which is the timed display of small text snippets that sync with the audio. This is common in videos and is especially helpful for those who need real-time reading of what's being said. A more dynamic option is an interactive transcript. This displays the full transcript next to the audio or video and kind of highlights the section being spoken in real time. It allows users to click on text, to jump to a part of the recording, or visually follow along with what's being said. This enhances the navigation and comprehension of your audience. All of these options put text at the forefront. That's because text is flexible and it really can be transformed by the assistive technologies. You can slow it down, you can speed it up. A lot of times the screen readers are able to, somebody that's using it are able to search for those key terms, or they're able to use it with other accessibility tools. Finally, don't forget the role of metadata. Adding descriptive titles, speaker names, dates, and keywords helps make your content more discoverable and easier to navigate, especially when stored in course platforms, digital libraries, or video hosting services. So to sum it up, transcripts are foundational, captions are powerful, and together they help make audio content inclusive and usable for the widest range of audiences.
There are some tools you can use to generate transcripts efficiently, especially when you're working with audio content that wasn't scripted or that you didn't record yourself. One simple free option is tunetotube.com. This site allows you to upload an audio file to YouTube as a video. Once your audio is on YouTube, you can take advantage of YouTube's auto captioning feature. This automatic captioning tool typically gives you about 70 to 85% accuracy, which is a solid starting point for a transcript. From there, it's easy to edit the captions directly in YouTube's interface to correct any mistakes or add punctuation. If you're working within an academic environment, you might use My Video, which includes an auto captioning service for both video and audio files. This can be a great alternative. Whether you use TuneToTube, MyVideo, or another platform, the key takeaway is this: automated transcriptions tools can save you time, and they make it much easier to create a base transcript that you can refine for accessibility.
So let's shift our focus specifically to video transcriptions. So we're going to go over what your options are and how do you get started. So there are free tools available that can help you generate captions for your videos, even if you don't have a transcript ready. So if you're working within Canvas, you can use the My Video, like Erin mentioned, through My Media. There's a built-in option to order captions directly from that platform. This is a great way to make sure that your course videos are accessible right from the start, and the interface is simple to use. So we've linked the instructions on how to order those captions in My Video on the slide, and you'll have these slides later on. Another option is youtube.com. Just like with audio, when you upload a video to YouTube, it will automatically generate captions for you. These are editable and can serve as a starting point for a transcript or for final captions. Just keep in mind that accuracy may vary depending on sound quality and speech clarity, so you still might have to revise. For those who are working with video editing software like Adobe Premiere Pro, it also offers a captioning feature, and they are helpful tutorial videos available, like the ones referenced here that kind of walk you through that process. This option is especially useful if you're editing the video before posting and want to embed accurate styled captions directly. It can be a bit more technical, but the key point is that you have multiple accessible pathways to make sure that your video content includes the clear, accurate captions and therefore reaches more of your learners, like we mentioned before.
When you're creating your own videos, it's important to build accessibility into your recording process from the very beginning. First, whenever possible, try to work from a script. This has several advantages. Not only does it help you stay organized and on message, but it can also double as your transcript or even serve as a base for closed captions. That saves time later and ensures your content is consistent across formats. When recording, it's important to enunciate clearly. This benefits not just captioning accuracy, especially if you're using automated tools, but it also helps viewers who rely on lip reading. Speaking clearly and at a steady pace also improves comprehension for all audiences. Using a script naturally helps you regulate your speaking pace, which is one of the most common challenges when recording. Slower, intentional delivery makes your video easier to caption accurately and easier to follow. Also, remember to speak up and project. Even if you're not standing in front of a classroom, good audio quality improves not just accessibility, but overall professionalism. Microphones can only do so much. Clear vocal delivery is still key. So in short, scripting, clear speech, and good vocal projection aren't just for the lecture hall. They're important accessibility practices that help make your videos more usable, understandable, and inclusive from the start.
So when you're using video content that you didn't create yourself, like YouTube clips, documentaries, interviews, or educational videos, it's just as important to think about accessibility. And the best practice here is just to select materials that already include captions. This saves you time and effort of creating your own transcript and to ensure the content is accessible from the start. As you preview videos, look for indicators like the closed caption icon, open captions, which are always visible, or subtitles option. These labels usually appear in the video player or description and signal whether captions are available. If a video doesn't include captions or subtitles, consider looking for an alternative version that does. Or if the content is essential, you may need to create the transcript yourself to support students who need it. Choosing accessible materials from the start really is one of the easiest and most impactful ways to promote inclusive teaching, and it helps avoid having to scramble for accommodations later on.
It's important to understand the value of creating robust, well-rounded content, something that benefits everyone, not just students with formal accommodations. First, you don't need to repeat everything exactly in multiple formats, but you should aim to describe actions clearly and in detail, especially in videos or demonstrations. For example, if you're walking through steps on a screen, talk through what you're doing as you go. That way, people who can't see the screen or who are viewing in low bandwidth situations can still follow along. The goal is to ensure there's an equivalent information across each channel. What's being shown, what's being said, and what's being written. This kind of redundancy might seem a little repetitive at first, but it actually supports different learning styles and access needs. When your materials are built this way, they're more resilient. If captions don't load, the transcript is still there. If a student misses the video, they can read the steps. Robust content fails less often because there are backup modes already built in. Ultimately, when you build universally accessible materials, you reduce the number of issues students might encounter, and that means fewer last-minute fixes or support requests for you. Everyone benefits from content that is clear, complete, and flexible.
So now that we've learned about creating accessible images and videos, I really want to highlight an opportunity to dive deeper into accessibility with the 10-week accessibility challenge. It runs every semester. The next one will be during the fall, so be on a lookout for that. I believe it starts September 2nd, and then the main 10-week challenge runs through September 23rd. So if you're interested in making your documents, presentations, and course sites more inclusive, this is a great place to start. The challenge is designed to be manageable and flexible over the course of 10 weeks, or you will receive weekly challenges straight to your inbox, with each one focused on a specific area of digital accessibility. So it's not overwhelming, it's very manageable. So this is a hands-on way to build your accessibility skills, whether you're just getting started or if you're looking to deepen your knowledge of what you already have. So you can sign up for the challenge by clicking the link on the slide. Okay, now we're going to transition to the alt text demo with Emily. So I'm going to stop sharing. And then Emily, you are free to take it away.
Thank you. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk everyone through a short alt text demo, It is completely optional, so feel free to follow along with me, or if you want to come back and look at it later at a later date, it's fine as well. And I am going to be doing a Google Doc demo and a Google Slide demo. Let me just start with the Google Doc. So sorry, I just clicked on it. If you click on a Google Doc link, you will open this page which says copy document, and then you can just click on the copy, make a copy button, and it will create a copy of the example document. This is a picture we just saw in the slides show just now, and we can very easily add a alt text to it. I already have the alt text down here. You can just copy this alt text instead of writing your own. Of course, if you want to write your own, feel free to do that as well. Now you want to click on the image, and you will see it is selected by the blue boundaries, and you would want to right click on it. And then you would see the alt text option immediately in the drop down menu. So you don't even have to look for it. It's will be very straightforward in front of you. So you can click on alt text, and then it will open up the image option sidebar on the right. And then as you can see, the alt text is open, and you can just paste in the alt text we just copied, and then you are done. It automatically saves, so you would not have to do any saving or click on a button to save it. And then now this picture or this image has alt text. Yeah. I will give everyone a minute or two to do this step. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, I will be moving on to the next part, which is adding alt text to a Google slide. If we go back to the slideshow we shared earlier in the meeting, you can click on the Google Slides button on, or the Google Slides text, and then it will pop up with the same page where it says if you would like to make a copy, you will do the same thing and click on make a copy button. And now you will have a slideshow with also a image as we have seen. And here because it's just under the same system, Google Doc and Google Slides have very similar interface, we can also just click on the image and you will see the blue boundary again, meaning this is selected. And then you can right click again, and alt text is also right in the drop down menu, and you can just click on it. And there are more options here, but you can also just put the alt text we just written in the alt text box, and it's the same as before. You don't have to save or anything. It is automatically saved, and now you will have alt text in your Google slide as well. I will let everyone do this step for a couple minutes, and again, please feel free to ask any questions. Okay, yes, so this is how we can add alt text. It is a pretty simple process, so make sure to always add alt text to your documents and your slides or anything where you would share images. And I will let Miriam finish with the rest of the presentation.
Okay, perfect. Also, if I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but if there's just an image that's purely decorative, you don't need that alt text. If it's just serving as a design, trying to make it look more appealing, you just put decorative image. So I know that we've covered a lot of ground today, and you might be thinking, like, where do I go from here? And the excellent news is you are absolutely not alone in this journey. The University of Michigan and the College of Allison provide a robust ecosystem of support and resources. We also have a wealth of resources covering everything we discussed today. So from that page hierarchy and color contrast to alt text and audio, video considerations, these slides themselves contain links to incredibly helpful tutorials and tools. So don't feel like you need to memorize everything today. Just consider this as your springboard to a deeper dive. We want to equip you with the knowledge and the pathways to get the support you need when you need it, and depending on what you're actually looking for. So now that we've gotten an introduction into some of the core elements of creating the accessible digital content, I just want to highlight and kind of share some resources with you, like the general accessibility and information on page hierarchy. Here we have some resources for audio and video recording and Zoom live meeting link text. Each one, each resource is really valuable, and I think, like, once you click on them and you see, depending on what you're looking for, it's gonna go into in depth about everything about that specific, component. So ultimately, our shared goal is to really empower everyone to create the digital content that's not only strong in its content, but also in delivery. So making it accessible to all users. And when we prioritize accessibility, we extend the reach and impact of our work. So making sure that no one's left out. So if you have questions or you need support or you just want to brainstorm ways to different ideas, how do I do this in my own course? Again, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. The LSNA Learning and Teaching Consultants are here to help you. You can contact us by phone or for email. And for a more detailed guidance, I highly recommend bookmarking the University of Michigan's main accessibility website. It's a very comprehensive resource that's continually updated. So thank you so much for your time, your attention, and your commitment to building more of an inclusive and digital environment. This concludes the presentation portion, but we would love to open it up if there's any additional kind of questions, concerns. So I am going to stop sharing, and I'm also going to stop recording so we can have a, there we go.